The Naked Gun was released in 2025 and was directed by Akiva Shiver. It tells the story of Frank Jr., who has become a police officer just like his dad, and now he must save the police department from shutting down by solving a serious case. I had seen the trailer for The Naked Gun, and I thought, you know what? It looks pretty fun. It looks entertaining. It looks funny. It looked like a very charming and just a very fun movie. It was actually my great friend Dara that had been telling me to watch it, and so we actually decided to watch it together. Dara had seen it before I had seen it, and he thought it was a very good film, and I can definitely see where he's coming from. As for me, I thought it was pretty good. I liked the movie. I haven't seen the other movies, so I can't judge on the other versions of Naked Gun. As far as I'm aware, this is a reboot. But I do think the film, as it stands, is a pretty good time, and it's quite fun too. Though I think my biggest problem with the film, this might be just me personally, I feel like there's not really much of a plot. There's not really there's no real journey in the movie. There's no real arc to it. Like, there's no real kind of quest. It kind of just feels like there's not really a plot. It feels like, Dara was actually saying this to me, and he made a very good point. It feels like a comedy sketch. And I actually agree with him on that. The movie to me feels just like a gigantic comedy sketch, especially with the pacing. The pacing of the movie is so weird. Like, the film is literally only 85 minutes. And in my book, it felt a little bit too short, especially for today's standards. And because of the weird pacing, because the film went by so quickly, it didn't feel rushed, but it went by very quick, to the point where it did feel a lot like a comedy sketch with a really good cast. And while it is a very good comedy sketch, I just wish there was just a little bit more depth. I just wish there was just a little bit more of a story being told. There is, a plot in here, but I don't know, it just feels more, it feels kind of straightforward. Like, it feels very basic, where it just feels too, I wouldn't say thin, but it just feels you're not really getting a story out of this movie. You're just kind of watching a gigantic comedy sketch. But what works is very well executed, and the comedy of the movie is absolutely hilarious. The film has some genius and very witty comedy. The dialogue is very well written, and the humor really fits the movie. It really adds to the tone of the movie, I have to say. Visually, the movie does look pretty nice. The color correction is very nice. The lighting is really good. The locations are really good. The way the film is shot is very creative and very unique, especially the climax. The climax, I do feel, is quite silly, but for some reason it just really works. The climax is just, it's so goofy and silly to the point where it's kind of cheesy in a way, but it's so much fun to watch. Like, it's just so entertaining, and it's just the way the climax is shot too. Like, it's so funny, and it's just like, it's so weird, but it's just kind of, you just have to laugh at how weird it is in my book. And the film's cast are doing a really good job too. Liam Neeson and the rest of the gang are doing excellent job playing these characters. They really own these roles. They really bring the characters alive, I have to say. You can tell everyone was having such a fun time while the movie was being filmed in production. Everyone does such a really good job. You can tell they're really having so much fun. And the characters themselves are pretty good. My biggest problem is just they don't really have character arcs. Like, it kind of just feels to me like we're kind of just watching Liam Neeson and the rest of the cast kind of playing themselves in a way. Like, to me, it didn't really feel like they had much, like, they had personalities, but they didn't really have like a story to them. They didn't really have like a character arc. Frank Jr., in a way, he does have a character arc throughout the film, living up to his dad and all. But I feel like it doesn't play as much of an impact as it could in my book. But the characters are still really well written. They have good chemistry with one another. They bounce off each other very well. They contribute to the plot very nicely. And they just have great dynamic with one another. The villain, though, is quite forgettable. There's not a whole lot to the villain. He's quite underdeveloped. But I'll give the villain this. His merit was his payoff. His payoff is absolutely hysterical. I genuinely laughed my ass off with how his character was wrapped up. So the film's characters, while not a whole lot to them, they're still pretty good. And the film's music is tons of fun. It actually really fits the film very well. The tone of the music kind of brings me back to movies like The First Bad Boys, the Beverly Hills Cop trilogy. There's just something about the vibe of the music that kind of brought me back to old cop movies, and for that, I think it's pretty cool. So I have to say, while the movie doesn't really blow me away or anything, I don't think it's an amazing movie, but I do have to say, it's a very entertaining film, and honestly, after reviewing it and talking about it, I think I actually might have to increase my rating. Overall, The Naked Gun may not be the most compelling movie out there since there's not really a lot of depth, but it does have a fun story, likeable characters with good chemistry, fun action, good visuals, solid music, and the film's comedy is hilarious. I'm gonna give The Naked Gun an 8 out of 10. So that's it for my review of The Naked Gun. Let me know what you guys think of it in the comments section below. Special thank you to Dara for telling me about the movie and for wanting me to watch the movie with him. It was an absolute pleasure. It was tons of fun to watch it with you. Stay tuned for my next review, everyone. And until then, take care, everyone. Thank you all so much for watching, and skidoosh.